Ready Check Radio. It's Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern. That means it's time for the Relic Grind. Ready Check Radio's Final Fantasy XIV Square Enix podcast, and my co-hosts are already rolling their eyes at me.
Oh my god. Too good. Come for the pre-show.
You gotta come for the pre-show. Yeah, we're doing the show live, as always, twitch.tv/Ready Check Radio. Thursday nights here for the Relic Grind, Saturday for Gaming Gumbo. Might have a third show coming back in the works, so I think I need to upload some of the pre-show from this episode, Flynn. Maybe. I do bite-sized bits, usually each week. I've taken off the last couple of weeks, and maybe I'll give you a little flavor of the pre-show if you're watching on YouTube or on ReadyCheckRadio.com. But we'd love to have you join us live. If you're listening on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music, Audible, any of those places, we definitely appreciate it. If you could, take just a second, click the follow button, click the like button, the subscribe button, whatever platform you're on. It definitely helps us out more than you would think. It costs you nothing, and if you like the content we do, it's what keeps us going. Tell your friends, bring them all here. We're so close. Did we pass it? I don't think we did, but I'm going to check. Because we were only last week a few people away from 300 on YouTube. And we're 5 away. We are 5 away. So
nice.
Give it a subscribe. Help a brother out. We got some stuff to talk about, especially some pre-show stuff, which is a lot of fun. Joining me to go over all of it, and excuse my voice. I hope it holds up for the hour. Just getting over the old Rona. So now 2 out of 3 of us have had it on the panel here. And we have, I've actually met one of them in person, but not recently enough to give him the Rona. The one I haven't met, though, Mr. Chris Montoya, a.k.a. Tarkoth. What's up, sir?
Greetings, programs. I am a little bit confused. I thought this was the Forever Grinding podcast, the Amazon Games Lost Ark premiere show. I've been playing that. That's not what we're doing?
That is not what we're doing. Okay. We will be talking about Lost Ark tomorrow on MMO Bomb's Always Online podcast, twitch.tv/MMOBomb, 1 p.m. Eastern.
That's good. Definitely tune in for that. I think I can fix this. I think I'm just trapped in a parallel universe. So let me fix this here. And hey guys, how you doing?
Oh God.
Hi.
Oh,
so happy
God.
to be here. Let's do this.
Oh God. Also on the line, Adam Lane, a.k.a. Cronus. Maximum Effort. What's up, sir?
I don't even know what that is from. Am I supposed to get that?
Yeah, we'll talk about it later. We'll talk about if you don't. I'm not surprised that he doesn't know, though, based on previous conversations, Tark. I'm not surprised he doesn't know.
So sad.
Based on previous conversations on this show.
Sorry.
It is something that will come up later today. It'll come up later today in this show. How you doing, Adam?
I'm doing all right. Yeah.
Now that you've had a few reps, is Savage officially on farm? You thought it was going to kind of be? Did you guys struggle on the re-clear?
It's on farm, but this week was definitely we one-shot every fight except for the last fight, but they were all like dragging people across the finish line. But it was, but I mean they were one-shots, so like I'm pretty sure we had like party-wide damage downs in like 2 of the fights. So
a one-shot is a one-shot. Tark, how is Circle 4 coming?
We finished the door boss. If you want to check out that clear, it's over at YouTube on Tarkoth Gaming. Check that out. We've had 1 hour on the final boss, the actual boss, the one that'll actually give us loot. So we're on Act 2 already. I'm liking how the puzzles are laid out, but we need more time on there. So
I don't do Savage consistently enough to be worth giving an update. I do it whenever the hell I feel like it, because that's the way I roll. But my next minion will be minion number 400.
Nice.
My next minion.
Savage minion.
400. Savage minion. 401 will put me in top 10 on my server.
Nice.
So 401 will move me. And I'm like this close on like 7 different ones that I'm just farming slowly. So we're getting there. Let's talk a little bit about 14. Obviously, not a ton of news from Final Fantasy 14 this week, as we're heading into the live letter next week. Now, just a reminder, there is no Relic Grind next Thursday. Now, Faye's not going to stream after today's show. Unfortunately, she got tied up at work. I think she's still going to stream next week, though, even though there's no Relic Grind. But Mr. Chris Montoya will be completing his move to his new residence. So we will actually reconvene the following Thursday, the 24th, to do the live letter, which would normally have been our live letter review show anyway, so it's none of that's getting pushed back. We've got the live letter on Friday the 18th, so it would have been after next week's show anyway. So I'm sure we'll have a lot to talk about that, and I do want to revisit today, when we get there, a little something on the potential stuff that could be in the live letter based on some comments that were put on our last video by viewers. Thank you so much for the comments, by the way. All that stuff definitely helps boost things getting seen when there are people interacting. So tell us hi. I thought, gentlemen, that since there wasn't a lot of news, we could talk about something that one thing has just been kind of brewing in the community, and the other thing is something Chronos and I have kind of talked about behind the scenes before. We've casually touched on it here, and for a long time I always liked it because it was reminiscent for me of something in the past, MMO-wise, but I'm kind of feeling like it just doesn't work for me anymore, and maybe you can convince me that I'm right or wrong. First, though, let's jump into what has been kind of a bigger topic in the community at large lately, and that is just general toxicity in party finders. And I want to break this down into a few different aspects because it's very easy. The one thing you see a lot of when you start talking about this topic in Final Fantasy XIV is, well, it's all those WoW refugees coming over. And I hate the term WoW refugee anyway, but that's one aspect that maybe we look at. We've seen some pretty nasty examples posted over the last week. At Chronos, it actually, one of them in particular, made you go on a 3 or 4 tweet rampage at the time.
But yeah,
at the time. So what's your general sense? What are you seeing in the community when you see posts like that? What's it making you think? And what is your experience? Do you have some of these similar experiences? Are you kind of immune to it because you do have a static raid group at the Savage level? Like what's it look like on your side?
I plug for fun. Like I help groups because I play this game entirely too much, and so like I'll go in, like do Mondays and Sundays and join pug groups just to like, one, it makes me better because like, you see stuff you don't normally see outside your static. It also like helps you just like if you want to pug other things, it helps. But that's not even like the point of what we're talking about, to be honest. So pugging actually in this game has gotten like so much better than like how it used to be back in like ARR Heavensward days. They used to be
right.
Like you couldn't clear Jack. First off, like everything was like locked, right? Like you could only use people that were inside your stuff.
Do you remember how much of a pug wall, demon wall was in Amdapor Keep? Like there was such a DPS check that it was like the make or break for.
I remember that was before
your pug
Party Finder existed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you had to shout to get like a party, and like you had to like make sure like you had like, it was weird, but I mean like I remember that. And like the thing is I think people are like seeing all this increase. To me, it's not really any different than it always has been. I think because of the WoW stuff, it's like become more forward facing, and because there's more eyes on the game, people are talking about it more. The toxicity that people are talking about has like existed in the game since the beginning of time, and it exists in like every game. You can't like eliminate all toxicity. Like I think we've touched on this before a few times where it's like, yeah, this community is awesome, right? It's great. But that doesn't mean that it's all like rainbow and sunshine.
There's always a seedy underbelly.
Yeah, there's plenty of it, to be honest.
Yeah,
and
a kind of prominent example you might have seen on Reddit or on other places was a tank and healer Savage interaction this past
that's the one
week.
I commented on. Yeah,
right. I kind of figured you didn't specifically point to that one, but I was aware of it and thought that's what you were replying to. So catch everybody up. What was going on there?
Essentially, there's a tank. He's actually a really good player. I'm not gonna mention him by name. If you want to like dig into it, whatever.
Yeah, we're not gonna give names. We're not gonna give names here.
Basically, it was in P3S. He was helping, like the same thing, kind of like I was saying earlier. So he was like helping, did a clear for 1, and he was like on Gunbreaker. I think he had like 3 cooldowns rolling, going into like a tank buster, and he was at like 20%. The healers weren't healing him, and he died. And he wasn't even really mean about it. Like after they came back out, he was like, "Hey, the off tank there gets rocked," which they do. I just need a little bit of something, right? Like you got to give me some stuff over here, single target stuff, so that I can live. I had 3 cooldowns rolling, and I think the healer's response was like, "No, you didn't." Like, no. And I've seen this plenty of times where like you'll have people that just don't want to blame themselves, and so he copied an FFLogs link with where like he popped his cooldowns and he pasted it in the party chat. Which if you know the terms of service and stuff, like you can
third-party tool.
You can be reported for that. Will they ban you for that specific instance? I don't know, because I don't really think he was being very toxic about it. I think he was just trying to be like, "Hey, look, I did my thing. I just need some help."
Yeah,
and it wasn't even like he was like being really mean to these people. If anything, I think they were being more mean to him.
Yeah, this wasn't like a WTF you let me die moment.
Yeah.
It wasn't one of those.
It was just like, "Hey, I take more damage. It's okay that you didn't see it, but I take more damage there than normal," kind of thing. And then they just like refused to believe it, and then they like threatened to ban him, and then it went like all downhill. And it's like people, I don't know, I just don't get it. And it's a big issue in PF. Is I feel like that this game's like the way the community works. It's like I said, it's great. Like a lot of people are really nice and really welcoming, but when you get to the savage tier and you're trying to do these things and everybody's trying to get their clear, it can be a little tense. And it really helps, man. If you mess up, it really helps if you're just like, "My bad, I'll fix that next time." Or if someone points something out to you, just be like, "Yeah, okay, I'll do that." Instead of just playing the blame game or not just fess it up. Like I lost count how many times I did Shiva, like E8S, and you would die to light rampant because you can't see jack shit during that mechanic if something goes wrong. And
we should say that at the end, by the way, this turned into not an acknowledgement of, cool log, my bad, you were right. It immediately turned into, how dare you post a log, I'm reporting you type mentality is where the conversation went after that. With a lot of spectators, right? Just kind of laughing as this goes on the entire time. Now, technically term of service violation. If you want to report somebody for it, fine. Like, okay, you're a dick, but fine. Go ahead. The only time I'm going to nail somebody with a report for DPS logs or logs of any type is when they are using them to be a dick. Right. Like to literally just bash the hell. Then even I'll report you. Other than that, I don't even care enough to click your log. I just don't care.
WTF, your DPS sucks. Here's the log. Look, you suck.
Here's one question that I want to talk about first, though, Tark.
Okay.
Is this a problem for the 1 to 2%? Right, those people that are pugging the savages of the savagest content.
Okay.
Or is this a problem across the spectrum? Because, like, for instance, do you see it when you're pugging your daily expert for tomestones or whatever you're doing, just queuing up for something in the duty finder, a mentor roulette or an expert roulette or a trial, or you're leveling? Do you see this same type of stuff, the same toxicity throughout the party finder? Or are we talking about something that, while may be big on Reddit or big on social media, is ultimately really only happening in the top 2 to 3% of people going after the most difficult of content in the game, but don't maybe necessarily have the group to be doing it with a static all the time? What are we talking about here in your experience?
I think it's pretty narrow. This is also a reason that I appreciate my static, and if there's problems, we can talk about it and be civilized human beings. But I think it's a pretty narrow problem. I don't have any issues when I do my experts. Like I can feel when DPS is down, but it's a freaking dungeon. We have talked about dungeons in this game. It's whatever. It's casual mode. So I don't really dive too much into it. It is sad that people just lash out like that. I don't understand why it's a video game. Clearly you're not having fun if you're getting this worked up about it. So, and why can't you learn to improve? Come on, let's go.
So, but here's the thing. Like, I don't fault somebody for getting mad, right? I understand. Me personally, it's a video game. Yeah. Do I get mad at it occasionally? God, you should see me play Rocket League when I'm not streaming. Like, when I'm streaming and playing Rocket League, I'm the most well-behaved Rocket League citizen ever.
Just have you got that
ever.
aerial twisting hit down yet?
As soon as that camera's off, though, you motherfucker. Like, I'm not typing it or being, like, abusive to them, but I'm swearing here. So, like, I get getting frustrated at a game. I've gotten frustrated with a raid group, right? Like, that happens, particularly when you do want to progress this stuff. So I don't fault people for getting upset. I don't even fault people for being like, dude, could I get some heals? No, you don't need them. You got some cooldowns. Why don't you use them? I did use them. Oh, my bad. I literally just had this happen in a Party Finder group for an expert roulette that I have no idea why I was healing, but I was healing. and I did did you use this? And I wasn't being a dick about it. I just like asking the question, did you use this? Because all of a sudden you became extremely squishy when I didn't expect you to become squishy. Yeah, I used it. Then I rolled back through, something that may have documented what I was doing at the, like, I don't know. I had this piece of paper.
Recording.
Like
stream recording, that's what it was.
Yeah, I rolled the tape back. The tape back, and I was like, "Oh shit! Yeah, no, that's my bad, Tank." There were 4 different buttons that in my brain I totally thought I used, and I did not. So, like, I've had that happen. I don't fault anybody for that stuff. I gotta say though, in my experience in the Party Finder, I really only run into this stuff when it comes to Savages, Unreals, and Ultimates. Like, the top tier content. So as much as, like, in my experience, totally anecdotal, I know I don't see like rampant toxicity throughout the Party Finder. I see it rampant toxicity on a certain content tier. And Chronos, you're kind of nodding, but so maybe disagreeing a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. So, like, yes, because those in those pieces of content, you're preventing a clear. Right?
Yeah.
In a dungeon, if you die, you're not really, like Tark said, it's a dungeon. You're not really preventing a clear, you're just making it take a little bit longer, which can be annoying to some people. It annoys me sometimes.
Time is money, Chronos.
It's fine. I will say, if you want to experience it in an expert, start queuing up as Dark Knight. Queue up into your expert roulette as Dark Knight.
Yeah, so that was going to be where I went to next after I said, hey, this seems to be primarily a Savage thing. But then I was going to take it to this example. Go ahead, because Dark Knights are getting beat up everywhere.
So I think the issue is, like we said, a dungeon is a dungeon, right? It's not meant to be hard. Some people, that's really what they do. They log on, they do their expert every day to cap for the week, and that's it. That's like their end game. They get their gear, and they move on with their life. And that's fine. And I think those people, typically their skill level isn't quite as high. And so Dark Knight right now, in dungeons, they're definitely weaker than the other 3 tanks, no doubt about it. But they're not so squishy that you can't heal them. And if a good Dark Knight's there, like you still have enough cooldowns to make everything work. But there's like this thing going around where people are saying like Dark Knight's so bad if you bring him into a dungeon, like you're reefing.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, Living Death sucks, and they need to fix that skill. But they have other stuff. They're just, the thing is you don't have to heal the other tanks because they heal themselves. And because you do have to kind of a little bit look at the Dark Knight occasionally and use some of your skills, that's like pissing people off, I guess. I don't know. Healers also, by the way, spoiler alert, have a shit ton of tools to do stuff like that. And if you spread yours out and they spread theirs out, you probably aren't GCD healing a Dark Knight either. So I think it's a little bit of a skill thing too, where they're just like they're front loading all their stuff. Maybe both players are, and then the Dark Knight dies. And then all shit hits the fan.
Yeah, and to call bringing up a point in chat that I think all 3 of us agree with, we just need to make clear here in case it hasn't come through. just because this type of behavior might be limited to a very small percentage content-wise of the audience, right? That doesn't make it okay.
Right.
That doesn't make absolutely, berating somebody or being toxic this nature okay. We're not even at that part of the discussion yet. So I don't want anybody to think that's what we were implying, that because it's a small problem, it's totally fine. You don't have to worry about it. We're talking about right now, how big of a problem is it? And I think we all generally agree, with some outside exceptions like Dark Knight, that this is usually a higher content thing. But let me ask this, too. There's a lot talk on the whole front of, well, this just happens when you let those WoW players in, And so in the interest of being, I think I all know we're going to go with this one, but in the interest of being complete on the topic, is there any validity to the bringing in of an audience from a game where the behavior, when it comes to higher end rating, is very different and is very established in its history, and bringing them into a new game? Does
Learned
that
behaviors brought over? Yeah,
maybe, I'm not saying there is or isn't. We're going to get to that now. What do you think?
Maybe to a small degree. Yes, we've had a large influx of players, and probably there is a percentage of them that are of that toxic nature. I just think our community has been so sugarcoating and kind of stamping down our toxic underbelly. Now they're just seeing that this influx of WoW transplants, and they're seeing this point, and they're going to point to that as someone to blame. They're scapegoating it instead of realizing that there's been a problem since day one. Like it's a thing. You can't have rose-colored glasses about your game and just point at these other players coming in. So,
any validity, Chronos, to a new community, whether it's from WoW or other games, has joined Final Fantasy in the last 12 months, and they brought a large percentage of this with them?
No. Because I've been playing since like Heaven's Word. I can firmly tell you that it's most of the time, man, it's for some dude that's been playing since like 1.0 or something. I don't know. And it maybe I'm kind of being a piece of crap right now too. But like it's really, I think they're putting a blanket statement over the WoW thing, and it's not that at all. It's been there for quite a while. So like Tark said, it might have just like they just looking to shine a light on somebody.
Get a scapegoat, yeah.
Frey put up a point. It's usually the mentors. The mentors are just awful. They're like, no, I'm a mentor. I know what I'm doing. See this crown? Yeah. And then they bail.
There's also this, though, too, and I've seen this as well. Again, it's in my book, it's never okay to be nasty and berating somebody, but I do recognize that it is also okay to be upset about, not getting a clear or things not going well or stuff. It's all about, and even Square's change to their terms of service, kind of talked about those lines. It's okay to tell Tark, maybe you should try this, maybe you should try this. It's not okay to tell Tark, you fucking dumb healer, why don't you actually use those things that are on your bar, right? Like,
Where's
there's
my
a
heals?
difference. There's a difference in that type of stuff. But I've also noticed, too, though, that there's an expectation difference, too. Like, for some reason, I've always noticed that the people that tend to get mad in groups that I'm in or I create for higher end content are the ones that come expecting a clear when the party finder description clearly says progression. We are learning. If you've never done it before, that's fine. Come on in and join. Have a basic idea of the mechanics would be nice. Let's do this. And then you get invariably somebody in there that is mad you didn't clear it the first time because they just want the clear. How do you fix it? I mean, that's the thing. At the end of the day, how do you fix it? Anytime you get a large number of human beings, which are genuinely terrible to begin with, right? En masse, humans are terrible to each other. When you get them all together doing the same thing, invariably mistakes are going to happen, no matter what we're talking about, video game or otherwise. and somebody's going to be pissed about it. Is there realistically a mechanism that you can do to improve things? No, you'll never get rid of it entirely, but or is, hey, what we have is what we're going to have, and it's enough. If people report them and the thing is investigated, they'll end up getting the boot. And if people don't report them, then they got away with that one. Or is there something else that you could do, whether you're a player or a Square Enix employee, Tark?
I think that the only way you can really do it is player reporting. I don't see Square devoting the manpower to really nitpick every single instance run of everything that's going on throughout the game. So it's just about player reporting. If you got a bad experience with someone that's really being hurtful and harassment, you got to report them. That's how you get those accounts out of the system.
Chronos?
I agree that's part of it. I do think Square could do a little bit more, and I think it would go a
Like
long
what?
way if
Like
Square put something in the game to teach people how to play the game, honestly.
Yeah.
I think a lot of stuff like this stems from that. And when you get to that higher end content, there's the game, unless you like go and dig into other things and look up guides and stuff and look at other people that have been playing for a while and what they say, it doesn't really prepare you. And I think some of these instances are those instances.
Right, but you already have the argument, though, that too much time is spent developing content that is only catering to 3% of the total audience anyway. Now you're talking about possibly...
I'm not saying teach them how to play Savage. I'm saying like just giving them like a basic level, which is sorely missing from the game in general, would actually help this problem, I think, more, honestly. But I'm not saying you can't fix the problem. I think what
right. Yeah.
The problem's
absolutely. It's not going away.
100% solve it, and reporting obviously goes a long way. Like a lot of the issue with this one is it's a bit more nuanced, and I don't think either one of them are going to be able to report each other, but just because of like things that transpired. But it's a weird. I don't think there's a 100% answer, but I do think that like at least I don't know, preparing the players for different stuff would help. And I'm not saying you need to prepare them for Savage, but there's nothing in the game that prepares you to really do much outside of the MSQ, to be fair.
Yeah.
And like I think it was brought up in chat too, and I said this in my tweet too. As a player, if you're in a party like that and the goals are somehow have been misaligned, or it was something you didn't think it was, or you thought it was one thing, or they thought it was one thing, you can just leave. That's what I do.
Yeah.
If I'm in a party and things are going that way, I don't even get to the point where I'm reporting people. I just be like, see you later, TYFP. I don't need to argue with you.
Yeah.
So.
To call saying, my expectation is I'm a grown-ass man, not your child. I don't care how many times we wipe, you ain't talking to me any kind of way. Now, does that mean that you aren't willing to even be like, hey, if you tried this and this at this point, maybe we could do a little differently, like, or hey, I noticed you weren't using this ability. Can I ask why? Because I think you got to be open to
constructive criticism,
playing any class better.
Yeah. I think that's kind of an issue in this game. To be, and again, it does affect the higher. It is a bigger issue at the higher levels because that's where it's really affecting a clear. But like, and I think it's also an issue just in general. Like when we see other people critique the game. Like remember the posts where we talked about, I don't know, like months ago. And everybody was like, oh, no, how dare you talk about Final Fantasy XIV that way? Yeah. And it's like, we need to take criticism better as a community and to the game that even though we know it's great, it doesn't mean it's perfect. So I think criticism is a big, big problem in the community as a whole. And I think people take it the wrong way as opposed to like, this guy was just, like you said, he was just asking him like, hey, can I get a couple more heals or whatever? Or, hey, can you put this there instead of here? That shouldn't be a problem.
The guy says response incoming.
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, I think I'm definitely one of those guys that's totally open to, because it may not even be like a, hey, Tark, you don't know what you're doing on that class. It may be you totally know what you're doing. You totally know what you're doing on that class, but you don't know this fight enough, and so you're using something at a point you shouldn't because it needs to be saved for this. Like, even if they're not talking about you're not playing your class right, there could be advice that if you are just totally unwilling to hear anything, that could definitely be helpful. Tark, you just blew those 2 cooldowns. I know why. You survived. It worked. But I need you to trust me to keep you alive there instead, because I need you to use your 2 cooldowns here, where I can't keep you alive by myself.
Yeah.
That type of stuff I think you have to be open to, right?
Oh, especially, and since I've had time in Ultimates, not only working with your tanks, but working with your co-healer, working with your DPS for their cooldowns as well. It's all a big team. You got to be able to talk to each other respectfully, so you can get through that content. So yeah, when it starts to devolve into name calling and harassment, it doesn't make for good. And then you should just leave that group and try to find another.
I'm totally the person that will ghost on a group. I just don't care. Yeah. I don't care. I won't even give you the TYFP. I'm just you don't even have to be coming after me. Like if I see somebody going after somebody else, I'm just like, yeah, I don't have time.
I do that too. No, I do the same thing. Yeah, say like if I even see it starting, I'll just bounce. I mean, I usually just put the TYFP just because like a courtesy, but I don't blame anybody for doing that. I really don't.
Okay.
My experience.
Takal's right with us, by the way. So what I'm saying is, I'm okay with saying, hey, save your file for when the ads pop up because it knocks a big chunk off the head start. Yeah. Okay, so Takal is right on board with us, and I thought so. I just wanted to make sure. Yeah. Go ahead, Tark. Sorry.
Yeah, my experience with that ultimate is that we got 2 clears, and then I got the harassment, and then we got ghosted. We're like, what the hell just happened? We just cleared spot. What the hell?
Didn't clear it. And then they're clear it good enough.
My parses as a scholar, and I'm like, what the hell? And then we look at those parses, and the warrior is like 4.
You mean you rolled the tape back?
Yeah, we rolled the tape back.
You rolled the tape back.
Rolled the tape back, and he's eating these tank busters by himself and all this fun stuff. It's great.
Quick hit on Final Fantasy XIV here, by the way. Let us know your suggestions on, can you improve this type of stuff, or is everything as far as it can be on this type of topic, and you just kind of got to report as needed. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Before we leave this, though, I do want to ask you guys, particularly you, Chronos, you run a lot of jobs, like not just leveling them all, which is something a lot of us do, but you actually run a lot of those jobs for various things where, Tark and I are generally like, we'll level everything, but there's like 2 or 3 that we're sticking to for different bits of content and things like that. When it comes to gearing, why are we still at 450 tomestones being the weekly cap?
I don't know. I wish I could tell you.
Like even somebody in my spot, and Tark's up maybe a little bit ahead of me, and then you're even more ahead of him on this. Even I am like, this is so painfully slow to BIS the classes I actually want to play in a meaningful way. Yep. This is so slow. And I'm not playing every single tank and healer and DPS like you are. I'm playing, 4 or 5 that I'm actually actively playing. 450 a week with almost 20 jobs at this point. Yeah. What is going on?
Yeah, I just did the numbers here. You cap out your tomestones every week. If you want just the weapons for every single battle job, that's 21 plus weeks.
Yeah, you're not getting that before the patch comes out. Yeah, like the thing is let's assume too, you're like most people, right? And you're pugging your savage. Let's assume that you're actually also like you're pugging and you've cleared since week 1, right? Which it's a pretty small percentage, and that just makes this problem even worse. If you aren't super lucky, it will still take you about 12 weeks to miss your main job, unless you get crazy lucky and you're winning like all those boxes,
or you're getting fed the loot too. Yeah.
Well, I'm talking about in a pug situation, not in a
pug situation. Yeah, got it.
Like if you're a pug, you've cleared since week 1, and you exclusively pug, so no one's handing you any loot. Statics, even in a static situation where you're divvying loot out to make sure everyone gets bis, you're still looking at 6 to 8 weeks, and everybody's probably not going to be bis for about 8 to 9 to 10, somewhere in there, because again, luck. Oh, also, not to mention, you need the pieces to unweather your gear. Everybody needs.
That's awful.
There's a lot of things they need to fix. I think just on a base level, The tomestones is 1.
Right.
Maybe make the pieces cheaper is 2. You can't do too much, or then it becomes kind of like a race, which is bad. Like they do have to limit
Right,
it
and
bit.
that is the whole idea right behind the tombstone lock, right?
Yeah.
It is a way of gating the pace of content for getting your BIS. But and for the savages and ultimates and stuff like that. It's a way for them to gate the content a little bit. But even like we hated it when we were all just maining 1 or 2 back in, Heaven's Word and stuff. Now all these different jobs, all these different things. Like 450 is a mess. I used to like the gear progression in Final Fantasy XIV because it made me feel like I was playing WoW in the Burning Crusade / Wrath of the Lich King era as far as the way the gear progression went, right? You went to a dungeon, you tried to get that drop. If you didn't get that drop, you were farming up a currency that was going to let you buy whatever pieces you want. And I like that, and WoW got away from that in different ways throughout the years after that. And I was like, I could live with this. Yeah, maybe it's a little older system. I'm kind of at the point now where I'm looking at it, and I'm like, this needs a total revamp. Like, the gearing system, can you fix it? Is it just increase, like Flynn saying in chat, Tark, is it increase the cap to 900 or increase it slowly week over week as a patch ages? Is it make the gear cheaper? I honestly, personally don't think that's the answer. While those might feel better, I honestly feel like gear progression in Final Fantasy XIV needs a total overhaul.
What do you think they should overhaul it to?
I didn't say I had that answer.
Okay, well, I was just thinking.
I didn't
like,
say
I don't want to see the tombstones get up to 900 because then earning 900 every week just
is bad.
Yeah.
Right.
I would be okay with like up to 600 and then lower the costs a little bit.
Right, and then you don't want to trivialize the raids and everything after 2 weeks, so you got to be careful there too. Like that's why I think it just kind of needs a total overhaul, because if you fix any one piece of this, it probably makes another piece of it bad or not feel good. If you raise the cap, that's cool from the perspective of you can get more tombstones and, get the chest piece for 2 classes in a week or whatever they would raise something to instead of just getting 1. But the bad side of that is now you're farming up 900 tombstones instead of 950, and if you use both of those on one character or one job instead of divvying them up across jobs, you start to trivialize the current raid tier at a much faster rate than you normally do. So I don't know. I feel like...
And then you're not even counting those people that actually like to have multiple jobs or multiple characters because they like to gear up and BIS their...
Like, you're almost having to play alts in a game that designed itself.
Yeah, that's
so
the problem. Yes,
yeah.
Yeah, that is the 100% the problem. Sorry, Tark, go ahead.
No. We're all in agreement then. Like, it's got to be that fine balance. They just need to tweak it just a little bit.
Oh, okay. Wait a minute. So what's the little bit then?
Well, like I was saying, you maybe increase how much you can get, just maybe to 600, bring the cost down just a little bit. Because again, you go too high, that's a lot of grinding for one character. Those people that like have multiple characters to BIS out, then they're in more pressure because they got to max out.
Yeah, you don't want them to race.
Yeah.
Right, but is there something to be said that's for somebody who really doesn't enjoy raiding, you will never, ever be best in slot?
I think it was actually brought up, like, I think Flynn said it, and I hadn't heard that idea before, and I actually kind of like it, is when you purchase an item, the next item is cheaper or something like that. I think that's cool.
That could be cool.
Or maybe even so you don't really like hurt the raid, because the raid is balanced around, like
you having pretty specific gear numbers at pretty specific times.
Right. So yeah, like the crafted gear is, and I know some people don't like it. And I see it in chat a little bit too. It's specifically designed for like your week 1 blitz raiders to clear the tier, because the tier is designed to be cleared in a few days. That's just how it is. More casual groups take longer. So the crafted gear is kind of more aimed for them and for people to just get into the tier. And then, you slowly upgrade, and then your average group probably, I would say, kills it around, I don't know, week 6 or 7 or something, maybe. And that's assuming they're like looking up guides. Blind progging throws a whole wrench into a lot of stuff. But like, I think making it cheaper if you buy like the same piece or something would be cool, because then you know you're buying it for an off job, right? Like if I buy pants for my healer or something, and then I go to buy pants again, all my pants are now cheaper because they know I'm buying it. Like, I don't know. I don't really know if that fixes it, but the thing is, and y'all touched on it, the game is designed so that you play multiple jobs.
Yeah.
Right, but the game is also designed with raiding being the be-all, end-all.
Right, but like if you do it that
and as
way,
somebody that enjoys raiding and dungeons and stuff like that, or raiding and savages and stuff like that, that doesn't bother me. But is there something to be said? And I don't know what the audience size for an idea like this is, but is there something to be said for if you don't like doing raids, or particularly doing savage raids, you will never ever be best in slot.
True. Yeah. You have to
is there something wrong with that, or is that okay? For me, it's no big deal. I don't care.
I'm fine with it, but I'm also on the inside looking out, so
right.
It's hard. I understand.
Because the counter argument is you don't need to be, right?
So, yeah, that's what I was going to say, is if you're not doing that content, you don't need to be best in slots. If you're not going to do ultimates, why you don't need to min-max, because there's no other piece of content that really makes use of that level of the gear.
I would even argue that only ultimates are tuned around being this. Yeah, like even savages, it's really just making the fight easier.
Let me ask you this though: would you feel the same if it was something else? Like for you, Tark, it's hey, you don't need it because you're not doing the content that it's geared for you to go and do anyway, and so yeah, you're fine with it. But let me switch it around here, and let's extrapolate this whole problem to something else. You are a minion farmer. You love farming minions. You are all about, you want to get every minion in the game.
See.
And some of them are trapped behind content you absolutely detest doing. That feels bad, doesn't it?
Like sightseeing logs?
Pick something. For me, it was PvP, right? I had to sit there and grind out front lines. I just did it the easy way, right? Just do one a day and get the bonus, and I'll have them in 3 weeks or whatever. I could have grinded it all out in 2 or 3 days and gotten them. That was not content I wanted to do. I felt like I had to do it because I wanted these. What if you are I love having the best chess piece, the best weapon that is available for my class at all times. Yeah, I'm not running the content that I need it for. But if the argument is, you don't need it, well, you don't need that minion either, but it still felt bad when you got forced into doing content you didn't want to do to get something you did want, even if what you did want held no meaning for anything, right?
I mean, I guess I feel that way because I got a couple instances where I haven't done Dulabrum Savage, I haven't done Baldelsian Arsenal. I want to get into that, but I don't want to slog through the Eureka crap.
Well, and Prismine brings up a good point too.
But
you
I don't
may
need
want
the gear
that
for that either.
You may want that BIS for glam, like not because you want BIS, but because you want glam.
That dyeable raid gear.
I want to touch on one word that you used actually that I feel like a lot of people use it. I don't like when they do it.
Okay, go ahead.
Not you actually. Mike said it.
Mike.
Forced. No one is forcing you.
Oh, come on.
No
Stop.
I'm just saying.
I hate. Oh my God, this topic's going to be 40 more minutes.
I'm just saying. Like, I choose to do mounts, right?
No one forced you to play the game. No one forces you to sub, blah, blah, blah.
But, like,
blah,
that's
blah,
the whole
blah,
thing
blah.
about Final Fantasy is nothing's really
that's
forced.
That's not. In the context of this discussion, I'm not using the word forced as in they made me do it. But if there is something I want, a minion trapped behind PvP, if I want that minion, I'm going to have to go do content I don't want to do.
Me too.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah,
technically
speaking, to that, Mike.
Technically speaking, nobody's gun to my head forcing me to do it. But I think you understood that was not the term that I was.
Yeah. I'm not saying you meant it specifically that way. I'm just saying. I just want to reiterate that. Like, go ahead.
I got a counterpoint, Mike, on that.
Mark, who the fuck is Mark?
Mike, Mr. Bird. You got 2 minions, the Fey Pup and the Hell Pup. You did the feast because you were forced to do that, right?
No,
you made a choice.
No, I didn't make a choice. I can't do it now. Otherwise, I would have.
No, you wouldn't have. Feast is awful.
If I had to, I wouldn't have done the front lines. I'm actually looking forward to the fact that those feast achievements are going to be moved to something else that might be a little more palatable for me.
I am too, because I wasn't going to do feast for those, but I was like, oh, but I was like, no, I made a choice. That wasn't worth my time. So,
right. But I mean, the whole idea of glam also throws my argument out of the water, because there is a valid reason you might want that best in slot gear and not want to be a raider doing the savage stuff.
okay.
The argument, because the argument we throw back at it is, well, you don't need it. You're not going to do the savage stuff, so you don't need the BIS gear. Well, what if I want to glam that because it looks fucking dope?
Well, then you wait 2 patches and you get it.
Oh, come on!
I'm just saying.
You wait an expansion and you go back with the
I'm telling you how the game is designed. That's how the game is designed. The game is designed where you can eventually go get it. It's just
like I want all my Gordius glams. You know, I'll go unsync that now.
That's like me saying, like, I really wish the pterodactyl mount was just in the raid. It'd be really easy if I got it. But like, no, I'm sitting in Diadem for fucking 12 hours, hitting mining goes.
Sorry.
Like, I telling you, I empathize with what you're doing, because I do plenty of content I hate for mounts, and I do it to myself though. That's the thing; it's self-inflicted.
Yeah,
and
it's all self-inflicted.
And so it's like I understand people want these things, but you're playing a game where everybody has like 100,000 different goals.
I understand, but and so like
pieces of content.
I get it, but Freycore is bringing up something that is the perfect example. You're like, well, hey, I want the Necromancer title from soloing Palace of the Dead. We're talking about one title tied to a very specific action that is the title for rewarding that action, and trying to compare it to all of the best in slot gear for every fucking job in the game is tied behind Savage Raids. Period. End of story. All slots, farming tomestones in conjunction with doing Savage Raids. You guys know what I'm talking about. Jesus Christ.
I understand what you're talking about, but then there's that value of, should everything be available for every person?
Best in slot for crafters, though, isn't. Okay, now you're really just trying to piss me off, Justin.
All right,
because you all know I'm not talking about crafting or gathering here.
You be careful. He's going to start showing logs and stuff and then harassing you.
I got no logs. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm logless.
He's going to roll back the tape.
I'm logless.
And I'm just for clarify, you're saying like BIS. You're talking about like the BIS is in its entirety, not like a singular BIS piece, right?
Yeah, not like a singular BIS piece.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, yeah. I don't know. It's been their design for a long time. I just don't know. Like, what else are you gonna? I don't know. I mean, a lot of raiders are raiding because it makes them feel more powerful, and I think that's like a reason they raid.
Yeah, and for me personally, I don't care. Like, I could use a little bit of an overhaul in the system because I'm gearing up multiple jobs, and that's my beef right now. But I don't mind doing raids. I don't mind doing Savage raids. I don't mind banging my head against Ultimate or Unreal content for a little while to get certain things. Like, but that's works for me because I like that content. If our BIS weapon was trapped behind PvP, I would be pissed every patch. Every single patch.
You don't want it to be like WoW either, right? Where it's like you have like these 8 different things you have to do to get different pieces of gear for it to be your BIS. Because then you're going to lose a lot of people, I think. So, I don't know. I don't really know the answer myself, but I don't mind how it is right now, other than the fact that I can't BIS multiple jobs in a game where I feel like I'm incentivized to play multiple jobs. But that's just me. And like, again, I'm a raider, so...
Yeah, and it does force you down this really bizarre route of, hey, we built the game so you can be every job on one character.
Yeah,
but you're probably going to want to play multiple characters.
Yeah, if you want to
reach
raid
this level of if you want to raid on more than one job.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's anyway.
Good times.
Holy hell! Look at this, gentlemen.
It's
look
beautiful.
At this thing. And chat might be saying, why you show me a picture of old Charlian?
Because it's not just old Charlian.
I don't care. It's just old Charlian. It's just old Charlian. Well, let me take the picture away, and we'll give you a little video tour of exactly what this is. This is old Charlian in Minecraft.
Absolutely stunning.
In Minecraft. It is incredible. This is coming from billybilly.com. Let me just click my little translate here so I can get a name for you.
The most impressive part is the depths of the library, where we don't really even see it all that much. And they really built down to flesh out the bottom levels of this library. Absolutely insane.
Alexander the Hammer.
Good name.
It is a good name. It is a good name. This is absolutely incredible.
I'm always curious how many.
And I've seen some. I've seen some crazy
Oh.
Minecraft stuff in my days, but they even go to like the Senate area, right? Where
the forum,
the
yeah.
forum where they're all there. I mean, it's just absolutely stunning, absolutely stunning. While I have that showing, the one thing I did want to talk about, live letter wise, Street Shop Kid commented on the last episode that they said, I remember in one of the interviews, either at Media Tour or right before Yoshi P was saying that Square was going to spare no expense, but that it was too late for anything to be done about the Endwalker stuff. Should we dare to dream and think that this could, them looking at the next 10 years, right, in the live letter, that this could be something like new zones in patches, hard 4-man content, more bosses per raid tier? I wouldn't be surprised if there's something crazy here. They're treating this like a pretty big deal. Maybe looking at this in terms of a combination of long-term goals that would even change, patch pacing or patch contents, overhauls like that. Do you think that's a possibility?
I think it's totally on the table. That might be part of what the whole 10 years, the next 10 years, their plans and what they're going to do with these resources that they've got from Square.
I'm sorry, I wasn't even listening to you. This video is just stunning.
Christ.
This video is just stunning. Oh, absolutely. I'm going to let it roll.
Let it roll.
Yeah, let's talk about some other Final Fantasy news and some Square Enix news, and then we'll call it a day. Here we thought we were going to not have enough to talk about this week.
Good conversation. You can't say that it'll come up with good topics sometimes.
We always do. We always find a way. We're like Jurassic Park. We find a way. Final Fantasy VI Pixel Remaster now available for pre-order and gets a release date of February 23rd here in NA. Raise your hand if you have already pre-ordered.
So I got 2 days to get this done before Elden Ring. So I mean,
Kiggles, I love you. Kiggles, I didn't have a cue. Final Fantasy XIV is a dead game confirmed.
No, dead game.
Dead game.
Dead so I'm the only person that didn't pre-order it.
Yeah,
I'm still boycotting.
You're definitely getting it.
I'm still boycotting.
I have
plenty of copies of Final Fantasy VI. I don't need that.
If it comes out on console as a package, would you get it?
If it came out on Switch and it was $50 for all 6 games, I would buy it.
Okay. Well, there's a lot of ifs in that fucking sentence.
Yeah, it's
Let's
never going to
move
happen.
on.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Chocobo GP also available for a pre-order as well. Release coming up on that one. Confirmed via Twitter, there will be custom races. I'm pretty excited about this, actually. We got this info here that I'm showing you on screen, where you'll be able to pick the classes, how the enemy's AI, the number of courses, the number of races. There'll be a ton of customization options as far as what you want to do. In addition, Chocobo GP will also include a story mode, 64-player knockout tournament, time attack, and a lot more. There's also going to be a free-to-download version of the game, allowing people that don't own this title to join in on the fun, as long as somebody in your group owns it. We've seen that a lot with some Square Enix titles and a lot of other Switch titles, where that was the case with what was it? Crystal Bearers remake, wasn't it? That as long as one person owned it, you could co-op others into it. Yeah.
Crystal Chronicles, yeah.
Crystal Chronicles. Yeah, Crystal Bearers. What the hell am I talking about? Crystal Chronicles, yeah. Please say I saw Mr. Happy's descent into madness over this game on Twitter a little while ago. Yes, he has his Ring Fit, and he is prepping and practicing and getting in shape for Chocobo GP. I cannot wait. I absolutely love Chocobo GP. Love it, love it, love it, love it. March, gang, March.
Yeah, with everything else.
February and March, man. Just, oh my God, so brutal for my wallet.
Yeah, it's going to be brutal. Hey, Platinum Games wants you to know that Babylon's Fall is in good shape.
Did we trust that? I'm on a 50-50 trusting that right now.
50-50, that's generous.
I am being generous.
Yeah.
But it's a decent article.
Yeah, and I think it's weird that it it ends with the game's in good shape because you're reading the article and you're like, why the fuck did they even do this?
They wanted the challenge.
They were talking to Platinum Games, right? And they were talking about design approach because Platinum Games is like known for these, blow them out of the park single player games, Bayonetta, and stuff like that, right? Great single player experiences. And now they're not only doing Babylon's Fall, which is a live service multiplayer game, but they've also indicated that they want to do more of that. While they didn't expressly say live service, the way their new leader, their new CEO was talking, they want to make riskier, bigger, more long-term games, which generally means live service. And talking about this, they said the transition from one design approach to another, as well as the technical challenges involved in delivering a smooth, stable online experience, has been challenging for the Babylon's Fall team. This reporting coming from GamePro.com. Platinum's previous attempt at a multiplayer game, Scalebound, ran into so many problems that it was eventually canceled. But Inaba says the studio never shies away from a challenge, and it looks like hard lessons learned on Scalebound have been applied to Babylon's Fall, which recently ran a closed beta test. In the test, we received various reactions, including positive and negative ones, said Inaba. The closed beta test was interesting because it was a process that we haven't done in game making so far, and it was very fresh. I think that Babylon's Fall has been well selected, and the game is in good shape. I am more nervous for this game than I ever was. I am really worried for it, in fact.
I'm on the same level of worry that I had for Avengers when it came out.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. I'm hopeful, but I'm worried. That's where I'm at that 50-50 mark.
I think I'm less than that. This is not a day one for me anymore. This really isn't. And that's sad because I wanted to like it. I am not one of those people that's like generally just against live service games. If you put NFTs in it, fuck it, I'm out. Forget it.
Yeah.
But I'm generally not opposed to a live service just right off the bat. I do want to look and see how you're developing it first before I may be out or in. I am all in on a good live service game done well that I don't feel like is taking advantage of me financially, and one that if it wasn't a live service, would I still have roughly the same experience? Or if you stripped out all this monetization, would you feel like this game's a slog? Like if you rip me off like that, forget it. Babylon's Fall, I wanted to enjoy, and I kind of enjoyed moments during the beta, but that was it. And I don't know, man. I don't know. It's one that I'm probably going to wait to see some reviews first. It's I don't know. We'll see. Would it get pushed back? Niabari asking.
God, they really don't want another hit like that, or dud like that, I should say.
I don't know if it'll be like quite like that because the IP, like I don't know, Avengers comes with a lot of extra heat, and this doesn't.
True.
I am afraid for this game too, though, and I think if they have to come out and say stuff like this, it makes me even feel worse. So
look at these figures.
Yes, please.
Final Fantasy Tactics Bring Arts action figures launching from Square Enix. These are beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Over 5 inches tall, additional hands, sword accessories, a display stand, lots of detail, articulation too. These are absolutely gorgeous, and they better be 95 bones a piece.
Nope.
A piece. Each
95
one
for
that
the
uses
set? Hell yeah. Okay, I get it.
No, $300.
Nope.
$300 if you want all 3 of them. Pre-orders are live, free U.S. shipping, not going to be sent out until November later this year, so you won't be charged until then. I would absolutely love these. but I can't justify that, Chronos.
Maybe they'll come with a minion. Then you have to buy.
Oh, you dick. You're such a dick. I hope they come with a mount.
Oh, God, no.
Delete a minion.
No, I think they're just a bit too expensive. They're cool, though. I'm glad they're giving Tactics some love, though, at least. That's a nice sign. So
yeah,
maybe with some other announcements that we'll see this one soon.
Yeah, we just saw FFTA2 get a card spoiled for the upcoming Final Fantasy TCG set, too. So this set going to have some TA2 love in it. Gotta love that. Got to love that. This I just threw in. There's nothing really to talk about. When I saw the numbers, I was like, wow, that is not... I probably wouldn't have guessed that. Yeah. GTA 5 has sold more than 160 million copies. GTA 5, 160. And I'm not surprised. Like, you hear that number and you're like, that's a big number. But I would have thought it was a big number. They've only been re-releasing that on new platforms for the last decade, right?
It was PS3, right?
What, GTA 5?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So...
God, was it PS3? Holy shit.
Yeah, the original was PS3, wasn't it?
Or was it?
I'm trying to remember. I mean, you might be right. I thought it was PS4 for some reason, but you might be right.
Yeah, it's PS3.
Okay, yeah, that's Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And Skyrim.
So, yeah, that is very cool, right? Congrats to them. And why are we talking about that? That is just shy of beating the sales mark for every Final Fantasy game combined.
Yeah. Totally insane.
Yeah, like my brain did not even put those two together. I was like, 160 million? Yeah, I'm not surprised GTA 5 has done that much. Every Final Fantasy, entire Final Fantasy series as of September 2021 had sold 164 million. So GTA 5's 160 million. I granted different audiences. I'm not implying one is better or anything here by any stretch of the imagination. I thought it was fucking interesting, so I brought it to the show.
Yeah.
The entire Assassin's Creed series as of November 2020 is 155 million. The Resident Evil series is 123 million. And Grand Theft Auto 5 as of February 2022, 160 million.
I wonder how many of the Resident Evil is Resident Evil 4.
Jason Schreier. Yeah, that's right. Right.
I feel like Resident Evil 4 is going down this road too, where they're just getting ported everywhere.
Last up, let's talk a little bit about. Thank God Faye actually got busy today. Man, we're like way behind schedule. You guys don't have anywhere to be, do you?
No.
This is not a drill.
Not a drill.
Red alert. This is not a drill. From the Nintendo Direct, Chrono Cross, the Radical Dreamers Edition comes out April. They would have had you believe that it was for Nintendo Switch only, but it is not.
Yay.
It was the Nintendo Direct, right? So it's coming out on the Nintendo Switch, the PS4, and the Xbox. Going to include remastered music, some updates, and then it's also going to include the Radical Dreamers title, which was not released here in the United States. That's a text-based adventure that kind of talks about where this is
kind of a prologue.
Yeah, a little bit of a prologue. Flynn saying the price point. Chef's kiss.
This is the price that I think the Pixel remaster should have gotten.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Do you want to tell everybody how much it is?
$20, $19.99. Very reasonably priced.
That this is cheaper than the Final Fantasy VI Pixel remaster.
It is. Yeah. Yep.
So that picture at the beginning of the show, Chronos, is a character in this game.
Okay,
Links.
yeah.
It's
been a long time since I've played Chrono
Links.
Cross.
It's Links.
And, yeah.
There's Radical Dreamers text-based. I can't wait. I can't wait. Oh, yeah. I can't wait. Just got to wait till April. Just April.
April 7th.
Not all that far.
Woohoo.
Yeah, not all that far. Very excited to see it. We kind of knew they were doing something with the Chrono series when they did the crossover with the free-to-play Steam game, and we'll have to see if we get like a full Trigger remake at some point. Other Square Enix thing. It felt like there was a lot of Square Enix in the Direct.
Real quick though, because we got that Chrono Cross remaster.
Yeah.
The NVIDIA leak 9 remake, Tactics remaster.
We'll see.
Yep, it's coming.
We'll see.
It's coming.
We'll see. Front Mission 1 and 2
Yes.
getting remakes as well. I was stunned to see this. Stunned. I love Front Mission. Did you guys? Are you guys into mech?
Oh my god, dude! I what did I say on the video? Square Enix, you beautiful bastards! Thank you so much. I played BattleTech. I played the miniatures. When I saw that this was a game from Square, I picked this up. I have 3, 4. I got the first on the Game Boy Advance. I love Front Mission. I love a good tactics game like this. Mix and match parts.
Front Mission's cool.
Yeah, it's so good. I'm excited.
A stunning surprise. In a stunning surprise, Live coming west. If you don't know, your ass better call somebody. No. If you don't know, go look. This is a tremendous JRPG that was never released here. Bunch of different characters, multiple storylines. Play through them in any order you want. We're getting that as well on the Nintendo Switch. 7 different stories, 7 different characters.
That's kind of like a romancing saga.
Yeah,
right?
Very well. If you actually look at the art style, though, it is very Chrono Trigger. It was in that era, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was in that era. By names and composed by names you absolutely love. This is coming in July. I can't wait. I cannot wait. And I don't even know what this one was, but the Centennial Case, a Tsujima story, Shujima story.
Shijima?
Yeah, thank you. Fucking COVID. Live action mystery adventure game. I'm not familiar with this IP or franchise. Either of you?
No.
Live action murder mystery game. I don't know.
Directed by Koichiro Ito, Metal Gear Solid 5, and produced by Ihara from the Nier Automata. I don't know. We'll see. But a lot on the Nintendo Direct. Gents, let's finish this up and do Love It or Leave It. That Nintendo Direct was balls deep in Square Enix stuff. I mean,
so good. I thought Live Alive was actually a Earthbound pixel remake at first. So I was like, oh, what is this?
Square announced it. Justin says Square announcing all their games to prove to people they don't need the money of others and won't be selling, or they're proving, hey, there's a lot to buy here. I mean,
look at all the stuff we can put out.
That one can go both ways. That's a sword that cuts both ways. So since we've never really talked about it on this show, because there hasn't really been much of a reason to talk about it on this show since we started these shows a year ago, I want to know, love it or leave it. Love it. You want more of it? Leave it. Throw it away. Never see it again. Chronos, the Front Mission series.
Yeah, I don't feel super strongly about it, but if I'm gonna pick one or the other, I think it has to be Love It. Also, yeah, just make more of these. Ignore Kingdom Hearts. Stop making that. Make more.
Yeah.
Of
Oh, that's totally gonna happen.
yeah, make more of these. That would be better. No, I do like tactical stuff. I like mech stuff too. There's just other games typically in those two genres that I enjoy a little bit more, but I do like the series.
Like what? Like what?
I'm typically more like for the mech stuff. I like the more action oriented stuff actually, like 4 Answers and stuff like that. I played that a lot back in the day. So and then for tactical, I don't know. It's like I like more of the fantasy setting, typically in the tactical games. But
fair enough.
So it's just like a mismatch. I do like the game though. I'm not saying it's bad or anything, and I'm saying love it. It's just those two genres I typically go different directions. That's all.
Tark, love it or leave it.
I don't know. I put these childish things behind me way in my past. I've grown out of it, I think. Who am I kidding? Like, I love this. Like I said, BattleTech, I collected the miniatures. I played at my little hobby shop. give me this all the time. Give me the remasters. Give me a new game. Give me a new front mission. Yes,
sidebar. Speaking of
Yeah.
BattleTech, did you guys? You guys, Dave and Buster's, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember when Dave and Buster's had like the 8-pod corner of BattleTech, and they like used to run leagues and stuff like that? Because it was like it was pretty much like VR. You got in a pod, closed the door, and you were in it, and there were you had a card for it. You were registered to teams. It was very cool. But yeah, as soon as you said BattleTech, I was like, oh, I missed that. You know what? Yeah, this is definitely a love it for me, even if I don't end up enjoying these remakes of 1 and 2, because I'm sure there are going to be aspects of the game that feel dated still. A lot has changed over the years. I do like seeing the IP itself get love.
Where's Eddie next?
Yeah, when something like this, when something like this does moderately well, it kind of says, all right, maybe we should, do the next one. Yeah, in the series. So we'll see. That's 3 love it. Let us know what you think in the comments below. We will, of course, be back Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern for the Gaming Gumbo. We've got a lot to cover. The show notes from last week are still sitting there because I canceled right before it was time to do the show with the old COVID-eroni. Apologies, my bad. There will be no Relic Grind next Thursday. We'll see you the following Thursday to go over everything from the live letter. Follow Twitter, though. I don't know if we're going to end up teaming up with Mr. Happy or something like that to do a live letter live thing. I know Tark will be out, but, if he wants us over there, he'll let me know. I have no idea. I haven't talked to him about it, so just follow on Twitter. We'll let you know. Until next week, though, where can everybody find you, Adam?
Same as always, Twitter below. If you want to see these conversations that we're having that get heated on Twitter, I also post there a lot of the time. I think my gaming stuff starts next week. I think King of Fighters comes out next week, so I might stream maybe. I don't know. But February is going to be a busy month.
February is just so packed.
Tark.
Find me on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, all at Tarkroth Gaming. I got my direct reactions up there, so check that out. And yeah, we'll be playing some Final Fantasy XIV tonight if you want to head on over.
I'm Mike Byrne. You can follow me personally right there at Magic Man 1, but more importantly, follow at RC Raideo, RAIDEO, so we can tweet at you every time we go live with one of our shows or our volunteer streamers who I love very, very much. Until next week, stay safe. We'll see you on the servers. Later.